Hi, my name is Gibson, and I'm the creator of the Personal Development School. This is your daily breakthrough video, and in this video, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about what the dismissive avoidant means when they say things like, you shouldn't want to be with me, or you should find someone better. So before I dive into that really quick, this is a common thing, by the way, that dismissive avoidants say, and there's reasons for it. I'm going to show you what those reasons are and give you a little bit of context and tell you a little bit about what to do. But what I am going to tell you really quick first is that we just closed our doors on May 5th to our 7-day free trial. I know that by the time you're seeing this, it's like May 7th. And um, a lot of people usually reach out to us after promotions and say, like, oh no, I missed my chance and all these different things, because sometimes they weren't looking at the videos for a week or two, or, whatever is going on. So do not stress if that is you. And if you're like, I missed my chance to check out all this free content for a week and take a free course and download a workbook and go through it, and basically the 7-day free trials for all the courses. It's for the all access membership pass. You can take a look at all the different ones in there, see what the content is, check out the workbook exercises, all that kind of stuff. If you miss that, then you can go to email my team at info@personaldevelopmentschool.com. I have an amazing team. They're super helpful, and they will give you a coupon code to try it out for a week as well. So let's talk about this. Why do DAs say this stuff? And what does it mean? So dismissive avoidants say this stuff when they still have an emotional investment in the relationship dynamic, but they're feeling defeated. Okay, this is the general set of patterns that this follows. So a lot of dismissive avoidants, a lot of them, I'll tell you a story, for example, and hopefully this will kind of give you context, right? I was speaking with a client once, and this client said, I am always getting broken up with, and it's really painful and it's really difficult because I always get into relationships, and then I feel like I just don't know how to do relationships. I'm just not built for them. And I invest and I try, and things start off really good. And then, 6 months in, 8 months in, it just gets really hard, and I don't know what's going on. It just starts sort of going down the slippery slope, and then always around a year and a half, 2 years, we break up, and I'm heartbroken. It's really hard for me to get over, and I always get broken up with, and it's usually because I'm doing things wrong, and I just don't even know what I'm doing wrong and what to do better. And obviously it's me, and I don't know how to get through doing relationships. And this is sort of the story of a lot of dismissive avoidance, with very common threads, at least, if not the entire story itself. And what happens is dismissive avoidance have a lot of subconscious programs that are things that are not necessarily the easiest, most helpful programs to navigate relationships effectively. And usually they're things like, oh, everybody's out to meet their own needs. We're all fully dependent on ourselves. There's a lack of believing in interdependency because that was usually never modeled to them. They usually, when they feel like they're being asked to do something or pressure is being put on them, they usually feel like it's coming in from a place where oh, we're not supposed to be doing this. This isn't how it's supposed to work. We're each supposed to take care of our own business, and then we can just have the relationship as a light, harmonious sort of benefit to our lives. Half of that is really correct. We should be showing up for our own problems. We should be working through our own stuff, but we're allowed to rely on others too. And it's actually healthy, and it's a part of our wiring. So we want interdependency, which means both. It doesn't mean one or the other mutually exclusively. And what can happen in these dynamics is that dismissive avoidants just feel really disempowered. And then when they start receiving criticism, they're very sensitive to it. And then it usually triggers a core wound for them. That's oh, there's something wrong with me. And so especially when that becomes a pattern, if they get into the later parts of the honeymoon struggle, the combination of the honeymoon phase and the power struggle phase, if they get into the later parts of the honeymoon phase, but really early or mid to late, of course, power struggle, they can start receiving a little more criticism, feeling a little more blamed. And usually their response is a shame wound is triggered, I am defective, something's wrong with me. And B, they usually feel incapable, which makes them shut down further because they're I don't know, what else is wanted from me, or I'm trying, but then, and when they feel criticized, they also feel hurt. And when they feel hurt, they want to self-soothe by withdrawing further. So they get into relationship dynamics where they feel very disempowered a lot of the time. And then if they still have an emotional investment or tie, they're not going to say, okay, then let's break up. They're going to say, okay, you should be with somebody else. You should be with somebody better. And part of it's sort of like a test in a way to see, but a lot of it's really just coming from pure defeat, from a place of not believing themselves, not feeling good about themselves in a lot of ways in this part of a relationship phase, in this phase of a relationship, and not having a better solution, and seeing that somebody they love or care for seems to be quite unhappy and not liking that either, but then feeling like, okay, well, the logical thing to do is for us to each take care of our own business again, and you go take care of your stuff and be with somebody who suits you better, and I'll just go on with my life in a different direction too. So part of there are like partial truths in there, but they're not coming right out and saying, I do not want to be with you. This isn't working for me. Because DAs are pretty quick when they're really done with something to leave or to pull back completely. Sometimes to the point of like ghosting in a way, or to just cut off a relationship and break up. And so this is really, really important to note. It's not, if this is a dynamic, what this is like symptomatic of in a way is just that there's all these underlying problems that are having a lot of difficulty being resolved. And if you want to do a deeper dive into this, because I'm thinking as I'm sharing this content, I'm like, this isn't me saying like feel bad for the DA and then stay forever, but this is also me saying, there's stuff going on, and the programs are just not very helpful for the DA, their internal programming, and you can have compassion for that very much at the same time. So we want to strike this balance between being able to have compassion and empathy, but not staying in situations that are unhealthy, and being able to feel like there's resolution and things are moving ahead in our relationship. So if you find yourself in this position ever, what I highly recommend doing is checking out some of the videos on this channel. There's so much in-depth content inside the personal development school as well around this, but things like the interactions between DAs and anxious, or whatever your attachment style might be if you're listening to this, and get a lot of like understanding of the underlying patterns and the reason the relationship is getting to this point where these types of conversations are being had. Do the work on the root causes within a deadline period of time, so you don't stay working at something forever if somebody else isn't showing up with you. Do it for something that's a healthy investment relative to the length of the relationship. So for example, if you've been dating for 3 months, maybe work on it for 3 weeks. If you've been dating for 2 years, maybe work on it for like 3 months, so pick something that's fair for you versus for how much you care, how much you're invested, and then have compassion for where that person's coming from, what's going on inside of them. But make sure that there's an accountability piece too, where both parties are able to show up and do the work and tackle those root causes that are leading up to that point. So hopefully this all makes a whole lot of sense. Thank you for watching. Thank you for being here. Please like, share, and subscribe. Super helpful for me. I appreciate you guys all so, so much. Thank you for your wonderful, amazing comments and questions all the time. And I will see you in the next video.